Hello, it's Doug the Football Guy here on Wednesday, November 8th, and I want to talk today about some tomfoolery that's been going on with these point spreads, specifically in one game last Sunday and then a game a couple weeks ago. Okay, so let's talk about Sunday. Texans with the late comeback to beat Tampa 39-37. C.J. Stroud brings them downfield and scores the winning touchdown. It was a beautiful thing. I had Houston in my survivor pool. It was awesome to have them pull it out. However, that point spread was 2.5. Some people might have had 3, but it was mostly 2.5. And you lost if you had the Texans. It was a nice comeback, but you lost. And the reason you lost is because a coach decided to not try to score the 2-point conversion. Should have kicked the extra point. And I'll explain. What happened in this game is the kicker, Fairbairn, for Texans, gets hurt. Earlier in the game, you could see on the summary that he had an extra point and he kicks a 50-yard field goal in the second quarter, but then he gets hurt. So the next couple touchdowns the Texans score, 2-point pass conversion failed. And next time they score, 2-point pass conversion failed because they don't have a kicker. And they're trying for 2 and they're not making it. So that's points off the board right there. But, that happens. You see on the first touchdown in the fourth quarter, they do convert the 2-pointer to go up by 7. Then somehow, some way, in a tie game, 30-30, midway through the fourth quarter, they trot out the backup running back for a chip shot 29-yard field goal, which means they had the ball at the 12. Fourth down, and you have no kicker. You're going to go for it. But no, they bring out the backup running back, and he promptly kicks it right through the uprights. It would have been good from 50. So now you've got a kicker. You've got someone who can kick. You can kick off at least 2. So what this makes it so strange is when Houston scored that late touchdown to go up by 2, why not bring this guy back out and kick the extra point? Make it a 3-point game, which is what you should do in this situation. So now they claim, well, we have got a kicker problem, so we're going to go for the 2-pointer. But you don't have a kicker problem. You've got a backup guy that can kick. The extra point is only 2 yards to 3 yards longer than the field goal he just made. So put him out there. But no, they don't. And they line up for a 2-point conversion and they take a knee. They actually took a knee. So, game over. They win by 2. You're giving 2.5. You lose. I don't know how much you lost, but whether it's a small amount or a large amount, it stings because they did not even try. They don't care. And that is what my point is. 2 weeks ago, week 7, Browns playing Colts. Browns down by 5. I saw it coming way beforehand. The spread was 1.5 by game time. Browns minus 1.5. So you do the math. You're thinking, well, if the Browns score a touchdown, they're going to be up by 1. And even though it's only 15 seconds to go, math tells you to go for 2. If they would have just kicked the extra point, they would have won by 2, and everybody that had Cleveland would have been happy and won their bets. But no, the people that had the Colts won because they are taking the points. So what happened was Cleveland decides to go for 2. It wasn't even an actual attempt. The P.J. Walker just handed it off to a running back, and he just basically, ran into 3 defenders and just fell down. It was pathetic to watch. They might as well have taken a knee like Houston did. This is what chaps my ass. To not even try to make these points affects so many people. And yes, it is a factor because gambling is legal now in, 40 states or something like that now? so many people are betting on these games and getting screwed by these decisions to not try to make these points when they're supposed to. The other side of the argument, I'm sure, is going to be, well, if they tried the extra point, what if it happens if it got blocked and the other team ran it back and scored, and you lose the game? The chances of that happening are so slim, you know, so slim. Kick the extra point. Do what you're supposed to do. So the point here is, if you're giving points, even if it's only a point and a half or a 2.5 line, you're probably going to end up getting screwed because of situations like this. The game has changed the last few years with everyone going for it on fourth down, going for two when doesn't make any sense at all. The analytics say to go for two, so they do it, and it just screws up the point totals in these games. The 17-14s, 24-21s don't exist hardly anymore. You have all these weird scores now, and it makes it even worse if you're giving points. You think I'm only giving 1.5. If they'll win by 3 at least if they're going to win the game, right? No, don't give the points. Take points only. My favorite point spread is the plus 1.5. If I'm getting plus 1.5 and my team comes down late in the game and scores a touchdown, normally they kick the extra point and go to overtime, but most of the time now the coach goes for 2 for the win. Once the coach makes that decision and I'm getting 1.5, it doesn't matter what happens on the play. I've won. If he makes a 2-pointer, they win by 1. I win. If he misses the 2-pointer, they lose by 1. I win still. It's a beautiful spread to have. I love plus 1.5. But recently I've been off my game, and I, given the 2.5 in the Houston game Sunday and given 1.5 for that Cleveland game 2 weeks ago, burned me. And it burned me because, I shouldn't have made that play, but these teams are not even trying to score these points. That's not fair to the gambler, and I know the NFL doesn't really care, but they should, because it's all about gambling now. And let's hope that there isn't some crazy maniac out there that's going to take a loss like this and do something crazy. I hope that doesn't happen, but I will not be surprised if it does. So that's my point. I just want to talk about these two bad beats in recent times. It's ugly. It's so deflating when it happens to you. You have to put it behind you. Best way to put it behind you is to not give the points. Take points. Take the points, and then these things don't usually happen. They still do in certain situations, but it's less likely to happen than if you're giving the small amount of points at the end. Well, that's my rant for today. The old bad beat happens. You got to deal with it. I'll be talking about these bad beats every week from now on, because that's all that happens in the league now, is these crazy weird endings and people getting screwed by half a point. So I'll be back next week with hopefully it won't happen, but we know it will. So talk to you next week. Thanks.